craziest, if not the craziest, NBA trade deadline ever. And there were so many major moves. The league has been shook up in a way that I can't recall it ever being shaken up like this by a trade deadline. So I thought this is the perfect time for us to recap every single trade from this past season's NBA year. We're going to go all the way back to the start of the season. There are only a couple from, mid-season really, and then all of the fun begins starting late January. So, to kick things off, our first trade of the 2024-2025 NBA season was a deal between the Indiana Pacers and the Miami Heat. This is a deal that took place on December 15th, in which the Pacers received center Thomas Bryant for a 2031 second-round pick swap. Nothing that major. Thomas Bryant isn't getting that many minutes as far as I know. A very mild trade to ease us into the pandemonium that will soon ensue. Next up, on that same day, December 15th, we have a deal between the Golden State Warriors and the Brooklyn Nets. This is a trade in which the Warriors received guard Dennis Schroeder and a 2025 second-round pick via Miami, which is top 37 protected, in exchange for DeAnthony Melton, Reese Beekman, 2026 second-round pick via Atlanta, 2028 second-round pick via Atlanta, and the Warriors' own 2029 second-round pick. So 3 second-rounders, DeAnthony Melton and Reese Beekman. As a Warriors fan, I at the time was pretty happy with this trade, seeing as Schroeder was kind of balling out on Brooklyn. We needed to make upgrades. Pods at the 2 was working with limited success. And DeAnthony Melton suffered a season-ending injury, so you're not really losing any rotational pieces, giving up a bunch of seconds for Dennis Schroeder. I thought it was a good deal. We'll see why this did not age well for both me and the Warriors. But after that, we move forward into December 29th. Here we have the Lakers making a deal with the Brooklyn Nets. In this trade, we saw the Lakers receive Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton in exchange for D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and the 3 future second-round picks. This is an unexpected trade, if I'm being honest. This was one I think a lot of people had a feeling that D'Angelo Russell was going to get moved, but it was hard to say where exactly. They moved him to the bench for the start of this season. He was kind of doing well in the 6-man role to start the year, and then he wasn't doing as well. JJ Redick had talked about it a couple times, and eventually Rob Pelinka pulled the trigger, sending him to Brooklyn to get a more defensive-minded player in Dorian Finney-Smith and an additional piece in Shake Milton. Overall, I think that this worked out pretty well for the Lakers, as they started the year kind of strong, then immediately fell apart, much like the Warriors. But since then, they have been able to climb back up, and I believe they're the 4 seed or the 5 seed at the moment. Depends how far the Rockets have fallen. The Rockets are slipping hard, but I think, they're doing really well. The Lakers have had a tremendous tear as of late, and part of it is due to this trade. Next up, we move all the way forward into January 15th. This is a deal between the Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Hornets. In this trade, the Phoenix Suns received center Nick Richards and 1 second-round pick in exchange for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. I felt like this was a move that was made just due to Yusuf Nurkic's contract situation and the rumors that they were looking to offload him. At this point, there had been a lot of talks about the Suns are looking to move away from Bradley Beal and from Nurkic. I think they had also been taken out of the rotation, or at the very Suns get their center in Nick Richards. Richards having a solid season a couple years ago, but then is starting to get phased out by Mark Williams. So it kind of made sense that the Hornets were willing to deal him. And yeah, I think that the Suns just need a center more than they needed Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie is solid on defense. I don't think offensively he brings that much for the table. And for the Hornets, this was mostly a capital move, I'd imagine. Willing to part with their backup center, and they get they increase their second round picks by 2. So next up, we have a very funny trade between the Suns and the Jazz. This one involved no players whatsoever. Here we had the Utah Jazz trading for a 2031 unprotected first round pick in exchange for the Suns receiving a 2025 least favorable first round pick via Cleveland, Minnesota, or Utah, a 2027 least favorable first round pick via Cleveland, Minnesota, or Utah, and a 2029 least favorable first round pick via Cleveland, Minnesota, or Utah. Now, the 2025 pick and the 2029 pick do have a little bit of protection. The Utah one is protected for 2025, and the 2029 one, the Minnesota one, is protected. I've never seen a deal like this, if I'm being honest. He straight up for one first rounder for 3 first rounders in draft capital. I can see why the Jazz are willing to do this, because if I was a betting man or if I was Danny Ainge, I could see the Suns being pretty bad in 2031. I would not mind. And they have so many picks. They're giving up their worst of the 3 picks in each of these years. It's not a bad deal for them. I think that the Suns were doing this to gain more leverage and capital for a Jimmy Butler trade, which we'll find out if it happened or not. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. Next up, we move into February 1st. We are within 1 week of the trade deadline now. At this point, we see a deal that really shook the league to its core. Clippers and Jazz exchanging players. The Clippers received Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills in exchange for Mo Bamba, PJ Tucker, a 2030 second round pick, and cash considerations. I guess the Clippers wanted Drew Eubanks. Mo Bamba is solid. PJ Tucker, I think he's been disgruntled for a while with his role in the NBA at large. So the Jazz acquiring him, they don't really want him. They're just looking to take on these crazy contracts, and the Jazz they're rebuilding. They're hardcore rebuilding. And yeah, Patty Mills, I know that he can play well for Australia. I feel like in the NBA, he hasn't been making as much of an impact as anymore. And Eubanks, when he was on the Suns, he was solid. I don't know about how he was doing with the Jazz so far this season. I guess the Clippers needed a big man. And they got rid of Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba, I'm just gonna keep it going. I don't have anything to say about Mo Bamba. Now, here is where things get interesting. The deal that shocked the entire world. I don't think there was a single person on planet Earth that was expecting this deal to occur. It is a 3-team trade between the Lakers, the Mavericks, and the Jazz. We have the Lakers receiving Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And as part of the deal, the Utah Jazz receive Jalen Shavina, 2025 second-round pick, and a 2025 second-round pick via the Clippers. Just for, I think they give up cash. And this is the craziest trade I have ever witnessed. In my entire history of watching basketball, the only deal in my mind that has shocked me more than this. Sorry, not more than this. As much as this before this one. Was the Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving swap that sent Kyrie to the Celtics and brought IT to Cleveland. That one, even then, like, people kind of knew that Kyrie wanted out. It was just baffling that the Celtics were willing to part with ID. He was such a great player for them. He really was like a Boston legend. It felt like he had accomplished so much at his height. He had put up all these crazy playoff scoring stats. And to see the Celtics part with him for Kyrie was crazy. One that I didn't expect at all. This one tops that by so much. And I know that Dallas fans have been in hell for the last week, but this is such an insane trade. I cannot believe the Mavs GM Nico Harrison did this. Like, if you're the Lakers and you get this call, obviously you're thinking Anthony Davis is a top 15 fringe. If he's playing really well, it can be a top 10 player in the NBA. He's great. He needs to be on the floor. This season, he's done a great job of being on the floor. Last season, he's done a great job of being on the floor. But Anthony Davis, 31. Luka Doncic has had the best start to an NBA career that one can have. As a rookie, there was a legitimate case for him to make the All-Star game. Now, he didn't, and we all know that he didn't, and he was kind of upset about it. Every year since then, he has been, like, basically first-team All-Pro consideration. Sorry, not All-Pro. All-NBA first team. Easily an All-Star. And, like, a legit top 5 MVP candidate. He is so good at basketball. A top 5 player, undisputed top 5 player. And the franchise player, the key cornerstone of your franchise. You drafted him. He has developed completely under you. You just went to the finals. And bro gets hurt, and he puts on a little weight, and they panic. And the Mavericks reach out to the Lakers saying, hey, we are looking to part ways with Luka. Can we get AD? For the Lakers, this is, you don't get an opportunity like this twice to get a player of Luka Doncic's caliber in your lap. Give up anyone. That is insane. The Lakers have guaranteed, I mean, as long as Luka stays on their team, they have guaranteed that their franchise will be relevant for another decade at least, and for years after LeBron's retirement, because I think that was a big thing, that the roster isn't that great. They fell apart last year. I don't think that, even though they're doing well, I think they had concerns about, like, going deep into the postseason this year, and, you know, the window is getting smaller. What are you gonna do? You get a guy who is going to play an elite level of basketball for another decade likely. It is a phenomenal move for the Lakers. As for their aspiration, their championship aspirations this season, I don't know about it. I feel like Luka and LeBron, their play styles are pretty ball dominant, and I'll have to see it. I'll have to see how it works. Maybe it will. Maybe LeBron can take a step back and Luka can take over and this can work. But I feel like the way that the roster is constructed right now at this moment, it's a little clunky. I don't think that they can do it all this year. But next year, the year after, it's possible. It'll take a little bit of adjusting. So in the long term, I think that the Lakers, phenomenal trade for them. For the Dallas Mavericks, this has potential to be good for maybe 1 or 2 years, and that is it. You've got Kyrie Irving on your team. He is not getting any younger. He is actually quite a bit older than Luka was. Kyrie and Luka just made the finals. And, you know, Nico Harrison's philosophy behind this trade was he believes defense wins championships. And AD is an all-NBA defense type of guy. Every year he's talked about winning Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's ever going to get the award, but he's always in that conversation. And so yes, Anthony Davis is good, but you're taking two guys that are legitimate twos. You two guys who have proven to be number two guys, and you're matching them up and trying to get them to the finals when you just need the finals. Like, I don't know, it is crazy. Now, Anthony Davis does like playing the four, and he gets to play alongside Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. They still have Dwight Powell, I think. And so, in some ways, this could be nice for him. But it's just, you're discounting your entire future for like a 2-year push. It's crazy. Maybe Anthony Davis, maybe Kyrie resigns, though I doubt. I don't know, man. Like maybe a couple more years, but it's a crazy move. And I feel like if the Mavs don't win the chip in this year, the next year, it's going to look so bad. And yeah, insane deal. And honestly, as a Warriors fan, I'm super mad that the Lakers pulled this off. Like, it's great for them, but I am upset. I am definitely upset that they were able to get something like this. Gosh, I'm jealous. And yeah, the Mavs, I think right now the roster is nice. The roster is nice right now. If everyone can stay healthy, they can put together one push, maybe two pushes, one next year. But it's just such a risky move, and Luka does not look that big. Conditioning, all these things, I feel like they went at it the wrong way. Look at Jokic. Jokic is not athletic, and he's won a final. Luka, I don't know if he played the most minutes of anyone last year. He made the finals. I wouldn't question it. I don't know. Whatever he's doing is working, bruh. Yeah. Wow. Next up, we have another blockbuster trade. February 2nd. I guess the other one didn't get finalized until the 2nd. But on February 2nd, we have the Spurs and Kings and Bulls engaging in a 3-team trade. Here we had De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin going to the San Antonio Spurs. The Kings receiving Zach LaVine, Saidi Cissoko, a 2025 first-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2031 first-round pick, a 2025 second-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2028 second-round pick. Quite the haul. And then you've got the Bulls receiving Zach Collins, Kevin Herter, Trey Jones, and a 2025 first-round pick via the Spurs. That is a stumper. I feel like that for the Spurs, this is a great trade. You get De'Aaron Fox to pair with your young rising star in Victor Wembanyama. And Fox, he took a while to develop, but he has been good for like the last 3 years. He has been a certified all-star caliber player, clutch player of the year. He is a baller. You've got him. He'll get a little bit of mentorship from Chris Paul. He's able to take on the point guard responsibilities, and you don't have to like rush Stephon Castle too much. Stephon Castle also doing really well this season. And then, yeah, Wemby gets his point guard for the future, as long as he resigns for him. And then, for the Kings, I feel like it's puzzling the way that the Kings have been operating this season. I didn't agree with the firing of Coach Mike Brown. You know, like 2 years ago, he took your poverty trash franchise, made them relevant again. You had this whole thing with the Beam team. You go to the playoffs. Yeah, you don't win in the playoffs, but it's that was not a given, even though you were the 3 seed. Then you struggled last year, only able to make it to the play-in tournament. Don't get off to a great start this year, but Mike Brown is a great coach, and to fire him that quickly after he won Coach of the Year 2 years ago, I think is silly. And then somehow, by some force of nature, after firing him, Kings were good. They went on this huge hot streak. They fixed it up. They were able to, at one point, climb as high as the 8th seed. And I was kind of stunned. And so it's like, well, maybe they can compete. Maybe Mike Brown was the problem. But then you still blow it up anyways. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing. They're like completely... I really don't get it. I don't think that they have a horrible lineup on paper. This all is great. 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks. Zach LaVine, you got your most out of this. I think that the Bulls, as a franchise, Nico Harrison is overshadowing how bad the Bulls GM is, because this guy sucks at his job. He has gotten scraps for Caruso, for DeRozan, and for now Zach LaVine. Just horrible returns on all of them. Yeah, so I think that the Kings, they do fine. I don't understand what they're doing, but all in all, they did fine in this trade. Spurs get an upgrade, and the Bulls, what are you guys doing? Next up, we've got on February 3rd, a underwhelming swap between the Charlotte Hornets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is going to be a 2029 second-round pick to the Hornets for a 2030 conditional second-round pick to the Thunder. Trading trash for junk. I don't know what's going on out here. I guess I don't really know. We're just gonna move on. Lots of noise, by the way. There's people screaming outside. There's my roommates taking out the trash out here and chattering. You've got the Mavericks engaging in a trade with the 76ers. They're not done yet. On February 4th, the Mavericks get Caleb Martin from the 76ers. And in exchange, they send Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick. I think this helps. I don't really... Quentin Grimes is cool. He's a nice hustle player, but I think Caleb Martin, the way that he has been able to elevate his game against the Celtics, against everyone in that 1 year that Miami went deep in the playoffs, he's a guy with a high ceiling. I do like Caleb Martin's capabilities. I feel like this is a good trade. Then, on February 5th, we are 1 day away from the trade deadline, and things get crazy. You have the Thunder receiving center Daniel Theis and a 2031 second-round pick in exchange for cash considerations to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans also kind of in the trenches this year, horrible season, and nothing has been working out for them. I think they are now looking to blow it up and restart. Next up, we have the Sacramento Kings engaging in another trade here. The Kings receive Jonas Valanciunas for Saidi Cissoko and 2 future second-round picks. Now, the thing that I am most confused about in this trade is how the heck was that all it took? How is that the asking price for Valanciunas? Well, why are the Wizards giving him away for nothing? So the Kings really, like, their roster is not bad. It's just a matter of, like, the West is so stacked. And of all the teams that were in the Valanciunas sweepstakes, I did not expect the Kings to be part of them or to win them. So him to be there is okay. And the Wizards, I feel like you could have gotten more. But you're the Wizards, so maybe not. Next up, we've got... I didn't even know about this one. On February 6th, this is the day of the actual trade deadline. The Celtics receiving a 2031 second-round pick from the Rockets. And the Rockets receive Jaden Springer, a 2027 second-round pick, and a 2030 second-round pick. Pretty inconsequential trade, in my opinion. We're not going to see that much. I think I've heard of Jaden Springer from Philly. I want to say he got drafted by Philly last year, and he was kind of doing well. I saw that people in Philly liked him. Then he got dealt to the Celtics. I don't think I've heard anything about him since, assuming I'm even thinking of the right player. Another big one that I didn't know about. Next up, we've got, on February 6th, a deal between the Washington Wizards and the Philadelphia 76ers. This is a deal in which Washington received Reggie Jackson and a 2026 first-round pick in exchange for the 76ers received Jared Butler, a 2027 second-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and 2 second-round picks in 2030. What the hell? Sorry, pardon my language. I need to refresh myself on who Jared Butler is, because why in the world are you giving up a first-round pick in Reggie Jackson for this all? This is crazy. This is insane. What? This is a horrible deal for the 76ers in my opinion. Maybe I don't know ball. Maybe I just don't know, and Jared Butler is really good. Am I tripping, bruh? What is this? Drafted by Utah, went to OKC, has been Washington the last 2 years. He is having a great year, averaging almost 7 points in 11 minutes a game. Shooting 36% from 3, 48 from the floor. Brother, what? I don't know what they are doing. It's okay. I mean, why would you send your 20? Who knows, man? Who knows? It's beyond my comprehension. I feel like this is one of the few trades I've seen the Wizards engage in where it's like, oh, they won. They absolutely won this one. What? I guess the 76ers think they're going to be good next year or something like that, and that's why they're willing to part with their first-round pick. I don't know. Next up, we have a deal between the Atlanta Hawks and the Houston Rockets. This is, on February 6th, the Rockets receiving Cody Zeller and a 2028 second-round pick for, they're sending the Hawks the draft rights to Alpha Kappa. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I have no idea what that is. The Atlanta Hawks have completed a trade with the Houston Rockets, reacquiring the draft rights to Alpha Kappa in exchange for Cody Zeller and a 2028 second-round draft pick. It was announced today. Kappa was originally selected by the Hawks with the 60th overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. Oh, so they got back a guy that they drafted. Okay. I don't know Alpha Kappa. I have never heard of Alpha Kappa, in fact. I've heard of Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller's alright. Interesting. Good to know, good to know. I'm looking for... I guess this is the day that all of the trades got finalized, because a lot of trades happened before this day, but I guess they didn't get processed. So next up, we have a deal between the Indiana Pacers and the Toronto Raptors. On February 6th, we had James Wiseman heading to Toronto with cash considerations. In exchange, the Pacers received 2026 second-round pick. I feel bad for James Wiseman, kind of. I don't know. He just really has not panned out at all to what people thought he was going to be. Drafted by the Warriors at the number 2. Then, I don't know, went to the Pistons. Got waived by the Pistons, went to the Pacers. Now he's getting dealt from the Pacers to the Raptors. Very quickly into his young career, he has become a journeyman, and he is not seeing playing time. He's just, I don't know what he can really salvage at this point. I feel bad for him a little bit. But the Raptors get to take a chance on him now. Next up, we've got the Pistons and the Sixers engaging in a trade here. Bro, what? The Pistons receive KJ Martin, a 2027 second-round pick, and a 2031 second-round pick. In exchange, the Philadelphia 76ers received cash considerations. There must be something going on with the cap that I am not aware of. Maybe maybe they're trying to get under something, or I don't know. This deal, there must be more to it, because I'm looking at it, and the 76ers said, here's all this stuff, give me a couple bucks. What? I don't know, I don't get it. It's whatever, we're gonna move on. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns dealing Yusuf Nurkic to the Hornets. We have a deal where the Hornets received Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick. In exchange, the Suns got Cody Martin, Vasily Micic, and a 2026 second-round pick. I've heard good things about Micic. I know that Cody Martin isn't quite as good as his brother, but he's solid. And, you know, they already exchanged with each other once, so you basically, there's like an extension of the Okogie Nick Richards trade. So yeah, you get rid, I feel like the Hornets win this one though. You get Nurkic, who is a solid piece. I feel like, I don't know how long he's under contract for, but could potentially trade him again. And you get a first rounder for these guys. And the Hornets are bad. They're just bad, so capital is going to help them. First and foremost. Suns, you get a little more depth and you move off a guy that you weren't doing that well with. So, yeah, it's fine. We'll see how Nick Richards does as center. But I think, I want to say I've heard that Micic is a pretty solid guy. I wonder where I would have heard that. Let's see, Charlotte versus the Lakers on January 31st. You put up 20. Yeah. Okay. It is what it is. We'll move forward. This one. See, these are definitely out of order. Because I can't announce that one yet. I have to find the main trade before I find that one. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. We have a 4-team trade between the Bucks, the Wizards, the Knicks, and the Spurs. In this trade, we see Kyle Kuzma, Jericho Sims, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 second-round pick, all headed to the Bucks. In exchange, the Wizards will be receiving Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a 2028 first-round pick swap. The Knicks are going to get DeLon Wright, the draft rights to Hugo Besson, and cash considerations in exchange. And finally, the Spurs are going to get Patrick Baldwin Jr. and cash considerations. For the Knicks and the Spurs, I feel like Patrick Baldwin Jr. Very low-key guy. He was drafted by the Warriors, went to the Wizards in the Jordan Poole trade. He doesn't get a lot of playing time, but he's an okay prospect. So the Spurs, I feel like they're fine. I don't know all that much about DeLon Wright, I want to say. Yeah, I don't know all that much about DeLon Wright, so I can't speak on the next half of this. For the Wizards, you get a first-round pick swap. I don't know. I think that big swap isn't as nice as an actual pick. An actual pick would be cool, but it's something. And you get AJ Johnson. I'm surprised that, I guess I'm not surprised, but I thought that the Bucks liked him. And he's decent. He's just a sharpshooter, I want to say. Let's see. AJ Johnson. Oh, no, I'm totally thinking of a different guy. This is not the guy at all that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the white guy that can't dunk on the Bucks. I don't know my players. But AJ Johnson, drafted this year. I guess that's why I know the name. Well, you get a young guard. Nothing wrong with that. And you move on from Kuzma, which will help with the development for Bilal Coulibaly. I think that's what he said. In the Bucks, they get Kuzma. I feel like Kuzma, this is a good trade just because he can be a complementary piece. He can be a solid third option guy. And he's going to play a lot more minutes than Middleton. Middleton has slowed down. He has regressed with the injuries. Kuzma, I don't think he's as talented as a scorer, but I feel like he will get you the rebounds and he'll get you solid points. He can definitely get you points. I don't know. It might be a little bit worse for the spacing, but I don't know how much Middleton is even making at this point of his shots. So, yeah, I don't mind this for the Bucks. Next up, we have the Lakers getting their center. The Lakers exchanging with the Charlotte Hornets. The Lakers will get Mark Williams, the center that I mentioned previously, and the Hornets are in exchange going to get Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, a 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and a 2030 pick swap. I feel like this deal is better for the Hornets than the Lakers. Maybe I'm just being biased. I feel like the Luka trade was really good for the Lakers. Yeah, you do want a center. You had Jackson Hayes, you want to get a center. But Mark Williams has not been able to play more than like 42 games, 41, 43 games in a season. He's tall, he's talented, but just like, I feel like it's kind of risky. He's been injury prone thus far, and to give up Connect plus an unprotected first round pick, Cam Reddish is kind of whatever. I feel like that's a lot. In my opinion, this is quite a bit for Mark Williams. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will pair up well. And Luka loves lob threat players. Mark Williams is tall. He has great standing reach. Perhaps it will be great. But Mark Williams is also very injury riddled. So I don't know. And a little bit weird. I mean, overall a good haul for the Hornets, but I don't know what the Hornets have for center after this. Yeah. Next up, we've got a deal between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Atlanta Hawks. Here we had the Cavs receiving DeAndre Hunter in exchange for Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. I want to say it's a win-win. This is good for both teams. I don't know if the Hawks are really trying to compete. Karis LeVert isn't bad. Georges Niang has a great win-loss. He has one of the best win-losses of any player in the NBA. You get 3 second-round picks, 2 pick swaps. That's not bad. And the Cavs get a stud in DeAndre Hunter. I guess I'm just used to the Hawks always being mid, and so I'm not really expecting them to make a move that's going to make them better. So this, I feel like, it doesn't make them better, it doesn't make them that much worse. And for the Cavs, it's a good piece. So yeah. Next up, here is the big one I was thinking of. We've got a 5-team trade between the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, the Utah Jazz, the Detroit Pistons, and the Toronto Raptors. This was a big one that was in development for a minute. Obviously, the Warriors pushing to get any star. They have been turned down by so many people. They had to deal up to try and get Kevin Durant back to the Warriors in a deal that would send Jimmy Butler to the Suns. That fell through. They're trying desperately to get guys like LeBron. Not happening. They're not budging. And then finally, they're able to pull off this mega trade in which the Warriors receive Jimmy Butler, 2 second-round picks, and cash considerations, all from the Heat. The Heat receive Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson from the Warriors, and a 2025 protected first-round pick from the Warriors. You've got the Heat also receiving Davion Mitchell from the Raptors. Then the Utah Jazz, they get Josh Richardson from the Heat, KJ Martin from the Pistons via the Sixers. Maybe that came before the other one. I don't know. Then 2028 second-round pick for the Jazz from the Pistons. You've got a 2031 second-round pick from the Heat, and you've got cash considerations from the Heat. Then the Pistons receive Lindy Waters III from the Warriors, Dennis Schroeder from the Jazz via the Warriors, and a 2031 second immediately after getting Jimmy Butler, they signed him to a 2-year, $121 million extension, which I think is a big component in this trade getting done. Because originally Jimmy had said that he's not going to go to the Warriors because he's not going to sign an extension. So with the extension, they have him do the rest of this year and then for the next 2 years. As a Warriors fan, I think that this is an alright move. I feel like Andrew Wiggins, though he was playing really well in the last recent stretch, and he has been good enough to be the second best player on a championship team, he is never the guy that you are looking to double. He is not a guy who you really consider that level of a threat. You're always going to play him one-on-one. And he's decent defensively. I will give him his props. He has done really well in improving as a defender. Jimmy Butler, though he is 35, I do think that the way that he has talked about, the way that he plays, like, you see his playoff production, you see the way that he actually can turn up when he's trying. He still has it. I don't think he has, like, really slowed down. He's, 1 year removed from a 25-5 season. He's not playing that many games this year, but he's a solid, all-around contributor, good defender. I feel like he fits what the Warriors need. In terms of like a second guy that defenses do have to worry about scoring the ball, and he's pretty efficient. So in all those ways, I guess it is old. I've seen all the memes about the Warriors being the unction, just a bunch of unks with Draymond, with Curry, with Butler. But I do think that like this was going to happen regardless. You got Jimmy Butler without having to give up any of your young pieces. You kept Potts, you kept Kuminga, you kept Moody. And even though they don't use Moody that well, you really get rid of Schroeder, who you had for a month and a half. Who cares? You get rid of 1 first-round pick, and you get rid of Kyle Anderson, who wasn't in rotation, and you get rid of Andrew Wiggins. So essentially, it's like 2.5 years of Jimmy Butler. You lose Andrew Wiggins, that's fine. You're going to ride it down to the sunset. Everyone has been talking about how there's nothing by, what's his name? But Mike Dunleavy Jr. at the front office is not supporting Curry in any way and not getting him a second star. You can now at least legitimately say, like, when Jimmy Butler is playing basketball, maybe people have forgotten. Maybe you can say that the young stars have gotten better, but Jimmy is a bona fide, I'd say, like, top 25 player. I don't think anyone's putting Andrew Wiggins that high. Jimmy Butler, he is still a star, I would say. He is an aging star, but the Warriors championship window is so close. Like, it is so close to over completely. We haven't even exited the Stephen Curry era, and the Warriors are at the bottom of the barrel of the West in terms of making the playoffs. Last year, we didn't even make the playoffs. We barely made the play-in. This year, it's kind of the same situation. We started off strong. Now we fall into this, like, 9, 10, 11 range. It's all murky. Maybe we can climb a little bit higher. But you only have 2 years of Curry left. You only have 2 years of Draymond. You only have 2 years of Steve Kerr. And then it's going to be the dark ages. It's going to be truly bad. So, to go all out and get Jimmy Butler, I don't know about, like, winning this year, but I don't mind putting another aging star with Curry. And yeah, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money for Jimmy Butler. $60 million a year for the next 2 years, but it's like, you didn't really discount the future. And yeah, it's a guy that, like, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a horrible trade. I feel like in the playoffs he can turn it up. We just have to make the playoffs. That's the issue. But if Buddy Hield can go back to playing how he's playing in, like, October, November, and then Potts has looked pretty good in the last couple games, returning from his 12-game injury. Kuminga, when he comes back from injury. You have Quentin Post, Trace Jackson Davis. Obviously, I always want a big. I would have liked if they can get a big, but to get a star caliber player like this, I don't think that it was a horrible trade, considering all the mock trades I saw where the Warriors give up way more. And I feel like if they were to get Kevin Durant, that would be worse in some ways, because yeah, it's 1 star, but we would have had to give up so much more, and I feel like KD wouldn't be as happy. And I don't know. I think it's decent. I think it's a decent trade. for the Heat, pretty good. You get rid of a guy that Pat Riley was already beefing with. You're doing fine in the standings. Andrew Wiggins is solid. Kyle Anderson can give you good meaningful minutes. Davion Mitchell, a good defender, and you get a first-round pick. Pretty good. The Jazz, the Pistons, and the Raptors, they're all an afterthought. But yeah, big deal here. Then we move into a deal between the Toronto Raptors, the Pelicans, and it's a 3-player deal. I thought this was a 3-team deal. And a 3-player deal between the Raptors and the Pelicans. The Raptors receive Brandon Ingram, and the Pelicans receive Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. It confirms this suspicion that the Pelicans are looking to blow it up. Clearing house. They got rid of Tice. Now they're getting rid of Brandon Ingram. They know that they're doomed. The Raptors, they get a solid player. I mean, he's good. Brandon Ingram is nice. And the Pelicans, Bruce Brown, he played good basketball for the Pacers when they, not for the Pacers, for the Nuggets that one year when they won the chip. Kelly Olynyk, first round pick is nice. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know what the Raptors really are doing. They're not in that great of a spot, but they're starting 5. You have RJ Barrett. Who else did you get in that deal? There's the other guy from the Knicks with the hair. Emmanuel Quickley. You have Emmanuel Quickley. You have RJ Barrett. You've got Scotty Barnes. You've got Brandon Ingram and center Pirtle. It's not bad. It's not that bad. But yeah. And then we've made it. We've made it to the last trade. This is gonna be the last one. Truly, the most funny. No, not the most funny ones, but it was second most shocking. Nah, I can't even say that. It was just a surprising trade. Here we have a 3-team deal between the Washington Wizards, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Sacramento Kings. Here we have the Wizards receiving Marcus Smart, Colby Jones, Alex Len, and a 2025 first-round pick. Then the Grizzlies receive 2 second-round picks, Marvin Bagley III and Johnny Davis. And finally the Kings receive Jake LaRavia and the Kings being part of this is like, I'm not gonna make the analogy I was gonna say something kind of crude and crass, but that's okay. The Grizzlies, I don't know why they would do this. Bob Myers accidentally slipped it that right after the trade deadline ended, he mentioned that the Grizzlies were pushing to land Kevin Durant, and they couldn't do it because KD said no. Which is interesting. But Marcus Smart, the Grizzlies are doing fairly well this season. Marcus Smart is a good basketball player. To give him up and a first-round pick for this bag of trash, like Bagley, Johnny Davis, 2 second-round picks, but you were giving up your 2025 first-round pick, and Marcus Smart. It's just, it looks so dumb, I feel like, because, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. Maybe they didn't need him, but Marcus Smart, I feel like has a lot of good basketball still left in him, and it just makes the Kristaps Porzingis trade look infinitely smarter. This is crazy. This is a crazy deal. I don't know what the Grizzlies are scheming, cooking up here. One of my roommates was saying it's because Scottie Pippen Jr. has been outperforming expectations, and he has been really good, and so they don't really need Smart. And I guess he's eating up contract space, but just like, I don't know. The Wizards with another good deal here. surprising. And yeah, that is all. Those are all the trades from this NBA season. And actually, I do have an update for you before we go. Just a bit ago, I got a notification when I was checking my phone. I saw it. We actually had one of these trades rescinded. This trade was undone very recently. The Lakers trade for Mark Williams. Breaking news: the Lakers trade with Charlotte to acquire Mark Williams has been rescinded due to failure to satisfy a condition of the trade. I don't know what that means. I don't know. We're gonna have to find out more about what this is. So I guess Mark Williams is not heading to the Lakers. They did not get their center. They get back Dalton Connect, and they get back their first round pick, and they get back, who was the other player? I don't remember the other player involved, but I feel like, low-key, that's good. I don't think that the Lakers are competing this year. I think you can get a better free agent center next year anyways, and I feel like Connect is nice. I don't know, I feel like he has been a good piece for the Lakers. Not necessarily as like a great contributor, but of the rookie prospects, he's been one of the better ones. So maybe this is nice for them. But yeah, I haven't seen a trade get rescinded in quite a while, so that's interesting. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. Craziest trade definitely gotta be the Luka to the Lakers trade and the AD to the Mavs. I would say that the Spurs one landing. De'Aaron Fox, the Kings getting Zach LaVine, that one was also fairly big. Got the Warriors getting Jimmy Butler. I don't know what my roommates are doing. I'm calling it here just because it's getting loud. It is 6:36 p.m. and now my roommates are getting loud, so I'm trying to be out of here. But as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoy content like this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos as the weeks progress. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you